Oh, whoops. I always do that. Someday I'll get this right. Good morning, everyone. This is the Afterglow Live Recap Podcast. My name is Syya. Erin is on holiday for some odd reason. Do you like my decorations?
They're beautiful.
So we are totally stoked to welcome back Cynthia Beckham with Peer Cheer Covers. Why? Because she's my friend of 20 years, and why not? So I'm in the mood of feeling happy, spending time with friends and family. And when you have a combination of both friend and family, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? So we had a little bit of technical snafu, but our special guest will be joining us very shortly, and I'm super stoked. So until then, I guess we'll just have to make do with a little bit of our logos over the side of our faces. I think we're okay with that, though, right, Cynthia?
Oh, absolutely. Any coverage we can get is great, Syya. After all, yesterday Jeff said, branding is everything, so we might as well promote it.
Right? That's what I say.
We really did. We don't have any logos on our attire today, but we have them on the screen. So,
can I tell you, I was actually looking for an Innovation Calling branded T-shirt. Yes. But apparently that would imply that Syya would have to do laundry, and apparently that was not going to happen. So, what's that saying about something about wishes and dreams and actually doing it, or something to that effect? Well, boy, did I not get my lesson learned from Jeff. All right. So real quick before we get started here. So recap, Peer Cheer Covers. Talk to us, sister. What is Peer Cheer Covers?
Peer Cheer Covers are decorative home decor covers that slip over the back of your kitchen chairs, your dining room chairs, or your stools. They are not only just for home decor, but they're also for corporate use and can be customized and branded. So they're actually the decor piece that has low effort, high impact, no nails, no tape, no paint, easy to install, and watch your space be transformed.
Transformation. Isn't
transformation?
Is that not just the word of the year, I guess, for 2020, or just S show? I'm trying to be positive here.
I think transformation people have sought out for years, Syya, not only themselves, with new hairstyles, clothing design, but also your home. I know that, from 20 years in the event business, we take an empty space and transform it into a party or a conference. So it is a whole lot of fun to transform.
I love it. And to me, transformation means that you're adaptable, flexible, you're willing to pivot.
Yes.
It's all those elements that you need to be a successful professional and, of course, business owner.
Absolutely.
Right?
I think the word of 2020 is pivot. Pivot, pivot, and more pivot. We heard that yesterday with Jeff, and actually so many of the GLO highlight speakers over the last few months is just about how companies during the pandemic simplified. They changed their concepts in order to not only survive, but to excel. And right. I think that trend is going to continue into 2021. So pivot away.
Right? I mean,
absolutely.
I don't know. Maybe it's just because I'm so thrilled for this year to be over. But I am so hopeful. I am so excited for the opportunity to continue being different. Like, I feel like I had a lot of self-introspection. I had an opportunity to understand some things about myself that I liked and didn't like about myself. And I think 2021 is about execution, right? Like, I think we had that opportunity to sit in our jammies and, heaven forbid, may or may not have actually changed our outfits over time, but, we came at something new. So on that note, welcome. We have a super special guest, you guys. It's a holiday treat. Michelle Lemmons-Poscente. She is the CEO and founder of Global Leaders Organization. I figured we would save the best two people in my life for last show of the year.
Thank you, Syya. What a pleasure to be here, guys. I've never been on the Afterglow show, so thank you.
Yeah, well, thank you. There's a reason for it, because you're like you're like the champagne cork at the end of, at the beginning of a celebration, right?
Yes, she is.
I
You
sh-
did an amazing job yesterday, Michelle, as always with Jeff. So
Isn't he great? He's just got so much energy too, and lots and lots of experience.
yes,
Oh.
he does. Yes, he does.
You know what? Everything, if I could summarize for this year. So we're talking about Jeff Sinelli, the founder of WhichWich, Sinelli Restaurant Concepts. This man is, again, every single speaker that we've had on GLO. Michelle, great job on curating, and obviously amazing network of friends that you have. But everyone has authenticity,
Yes.
humility, a can-do attitude, and a willingness to help others.
Yeah.
And those are just the top 4 that I just kind of noticed as a constant theme. And I find myself thinking, oh, of course I have all 4. I mean, look at me, I'm the best, right? And if this year ever showed me anything, is how much I was lacking in all 4 areas. Though I think from a cursory level, I think to be a decent human, you have it. But to really invest and really do each component and be thoughtful and intentional, that is what really struck me with all the speakers at GLO this year. Cynthia, you're new to the crew here. So the last month or so that you've been a member, what has your opinion, your thoughts, at least of what you've seen so far?
I completely agree with you, Syya, is that it's not just the inner desire to be an entrepreneur, but it's also to share with other entrepreneurs. I think is a huge aspect of being a part of GLO and learning from some of the best in the industry, but also to take that to the next step of all contributions that we make as individuals, whether we're an entrepreneur or not, make an impact. And I think that if you keep that at the forefront of any business that you either start, run, or participate in, as long as you incorporate that is a key element in the mix.
Yeah, and you know what I loved most about what happened yesterday?
Tell us.
So what happened yesterday with Jeff in the VIP room was what we'd love to happen every day within GLO. But I heard Jeff go, "Hey, Syya, call me afterwards about your podcast because I want to talk about a business opportunity." And that's what's supposed to be happening as well with GLO. So not only do you learn from all these people, but you're getting to interact with them as well with business opportunities, which that's what GLO is about, right? Growing your business, and you grow your business through these networks we're creating, right? These new relationships.
Don't jinx me, lady.
So what did you think about that, Syya?
No,
what did you think about when Jeff asked for your number in the, in the private room?
Business sense, in a business sense, in front of everybody. No, it was completely unexpected, first off, which was another thing. Like, in 20 years of sales, I should not have been as taken aback as I was. I just wasn't prepared for that question. And it was just one of those things where I was like, and I literally, Michelle probably laughing, because I think I was like frozen in this like deer in headlights face. I'm like, did he just ask me for like my number? Like, what the F is going on here? But that's the thing, was I was so excited, and I was like, oh my gosh, I only have like literally 30 seconds with this guy. But it was just enough for him to be like, you know what? I don't have time to talk right now. Let's talk more. And the fact he took my number, I mean, if he wasn't serious, I have his phone number now, so he's gonna get serious.
The same thing happened with Kevin Harrington. There was a connection made with Kevin and one of our members afterwards. But that's what it's all about. It is about helping entrepreneurs, helping one another grow. And I love what you said, Syya, about the authenticity. So, one of my prior businesses was a company where I managed and represented talent. And the thing that I always looked for was authenticity. That's what I always looked for, because there's a lot of charlatans out there in the world of speaking. And I love it when someone's actually been there and done it.
Yes.
Yeah.
There again is that been there and done it. And it's not to say that every single time you've been there, you've done it successfully.
Right.
So, I mean, Jeff admitted, like, to me, I loved the concept of Genghis Grill. Like, I loved it. I was so thrilled. I was excited. And he said he was in his 20s, I think, when he launched that one, or had
Right.
the idea and concept for, which I think is hilarious because it's like, I honestly thought it was an Asian person that started the business. So there you go on that. But but he had a lot of hard lessons. I mean, that was a great change for a while, right?
Yeah.
And now he's taken that, the lessons he learned from it, and he applied it. And when he applied to WhichWich, I thought it was really interesting. So guys, he mentioned the concept of, actually no, Michelle, you did, cause marketing. And this is such a huge thing to me. So when you think of cause marketing, Cynthia, how do you think that relates to your business at Peer Cheer and at Tied Together Marketing, for that matter?
So I'll start with the Tied Together on the events side of the house. So we actually participated in an incentive trip to build an orphanage in Marrakesh, in Morocco. And the concept came about that we wanted to give back to the local community. And so even though the people that won this incentive trip, it gave them a sense of purpose. And interesting enough, we built a facility for these orphans in Marrakesh. And from there, these relationships bloomed into, how else can we help? So one little small spark of, we would like to introduce a cause to this incentive trip all the way across the world, actually inspired other charitable givebacks that we incorporate in a lot of events. In terms of the peer cheer concept, we feel that people need that inner boost, right, all the time. And so by just seeing the chair cover, it will give people the motivation to do more. There's some nursing homes that people can't see their families. And so next week, we're going to take them some chair covers and just try to brighten their day. And I think that it's those small causes that you can participate in, whether they're personal, connections to yourself, whether it's a 5K run for breast cancer or other small things. But just, I think you always have to put it out there of your willingness to participate in a cause.
I agree. What I liked most about his cause marketing is the fact that his cause marketing was in line with who they are, right?
Yes.
They're a sandwich shop, and they're going to be giving away free sandwiches, which is, to me, is what makes sense. And
absolutely,
you don't know this, Syya, but Cynthia and I have started doing something together.
You have? What is that?
Cynthia?
I did not tell her. Michelle, please do the honors.
Yeah. So GLO, we're starting small, just like Cynthia said, baby steps, right? You start with just one simple step. But it's always been in our game plan to provide mentoring to individuals, right? So Cynthia and I are the first ones to step into a mentor-mentee program, and we're going to be working with one another and helping one another grow our businesses, right? So
yes. Very excited, very honored. I'm very honored to have the invitation to work with Michelle.
My mind is blown on that. Honestly, Michelle, for you two to be the two inaugural kickoff for this program, I'm just going to tell you right now, you guys are going to be nothing but success. Cynthia is an amazing, successful entrepreneur, and what she's done together with Tied Together Marketing, with all her corporate events she pulled off. I mean, she was a small business owner, gosh, girl, I remember when you had like maybe 3 girls with you, or 3 professionals who have a female with you, and it just blew up over the years. And obviously the pandemic has shifted that a little bit, but I mean, you've tried and true. Gosh, I'm so excited. I'm like,
yeah, I'm so excited. I am very excited. And one of the things I think when Michelle and I first discussed a mentorship between the two of us is that, especially in the Louisville, Kentucky area, we do not have support for entrepreneurs. And what better way for us to show this new chapter what a successful mentorship looks like, and to be a part of an organization where you have access to other entrepreneurs, to capital, to innovative ideas, and to be able to, rely on a network of people that get it for the lack of, that really get it and can help you leapfrog your businesses and your professional growth, I think is so important.
Yeah,
It is.
I'm excited about it.
I am too. I have to say, I really want to hear your perspective on this, Michelle, from Jeff yesterday. When he was talking about WhichWich and starting that concept and how they had to simplify their menu this year and really kind of dive into what their offering looked like, and to really work on that left bicep, which was delivery and takeout. And to me, I was like, oh, well, that was a no-brainer for a sandwich shop. Of course, you're always going to have takeout. I have 3 children. We take out constantly. The kids eat in the car. His PB&J is a real winner with my son Dalton. But do you see entrepreneurs that are just starting having to look at their business plan and simplify in times like this as well?
Well, I think it's always a great exercise to go through. I mean, I had to do it with GLO. There were so many things I wanted to do with GLO. And we will, but I really had to drill it down and just get really simplified on our messaging, who we are and what we really stand for. And what we really stand for is the capital component. But we have Marketplace, and we have the Deal Network, and we have the discussion board, and we have so much stuff. So we're going through that exercise too, just drilling down. And because I think as an entrepreneur, we're always looking at the shiny objects, and we always believe that we can do it too, right? And that everybody will get it because we get it. Well,
that's right.
Right. So
that's right. It's the hustle. We have the hustle, the passion, the drive, all those things Syya mentioned. But, I did find it interesting that here he is, a serial entrepreneur with many concepts in the hospitality market, and he basically did a pivot, just like we were talking about before. But before he spoke, I did a little research on Jeff, and one thing I thought was interesting when we talk about capital. So when he was starting WhichWich, he could not get a lease for his restaurants because, they weren't established. They were up against people like Subway and other sandwich shops. So he was like, how am I going to make this deal happen? Interesting enough, it was by adding the milkshakes. I'm sure you guys have read that story. So he made the deal to get his first WhichWich shop basically by adding milkshakes. So I think as entrepreneurs, capital sometimes doesn't come in the form of, hard dollars. It comes into the opportunity, in different forms by, opening those doors.
I completely agree with you. Yeah. I mean, you have to get creative, right?
Absolutely. And Syya, have you had that same experience with the podcast of having to, use capital in different ways or relationships in different ways as a means of growing your business?
It's so funny with the podcasting. I feel so selfish, but yet at the same time, I do feel very selfish. And so it made me realize I need a bit more of a cause in my own business and what we do. Because our mission has always been to give a voice. Everyone has a story to tell. So share it, right? We're not automatons in this world, especially from a business perspective, which is what we tend to focus on, is business oriented or specific industry type podcasts. And I'm hearing these stories and I'm taking a lot into it personally, because I'm a bystander, a fly on the wall, if you will. But I realize, though, in my selfishness of hearing everyone else's story, that, maybe we could do a better job of helping them, get their story out. So I've actually reached out to what I affectionately call the hobbyist type podcasters, or even business folks, to encourage them to do their own hobby style podcast, because it's a great outlet for your own personality to really shine. That's outside of your business. It's outside of who you are. So it's really me trying to humanize the world, because I don't think we have enough humanity in this day and age right now. So it's a little bit more subtle, but trying to get people out of their
causes. If you want some causes to put on for a podcast, I'm sure that between Michelle and I, we can definitely recommend quite a few to get that started, because they do need a platform. You're correct, and you're the perfect host to allow them to share their needs with people, and others gravitate towards that.
We actually have a GLO member that's all they do is travel for cause events. And obviously their whole industry has been shut down, and their business has been closed since March. So it's really affected her. But she would be someone that you should reach out to. See, I'll give you her name afterwards.
Yeah, no, I'd love it. Yeah, we used to, what's funny, and I just thought about it. It's been so long. Oh my God, what a long year it's been. Erin and I used to, on our podcast Innovation Calling, we used to have a monthly Women in Tech Leadership series, and that was our cause. It was all about raising the profile of women in leadership, and it was awesome. And it was a way for people to gather, have a live audience recording, and we just got nothing but positive feedback from it. Now with the pandemic, it just, as much as I love these types of interaction, it's just not the same when you're not in the room and you're hearing and feeling the energy of the audience giving you feedback as you're doing your podcast live. So, but yeah, no, huge advocate for women in leadership. I think that's where we all are, you guys. There's 3 very successful business leaders right here talking.
Absolutely. And Syya, we have noticed throughout the pandemic that even the most polished professionals struggle with the energy of presenting, just like we are now in front of their laptop. And that takes a completely different skill. And I'm sure that sales folks in any sector have the exact same, challenge, right, to do that. And so to humanize that and make it comfortable, I think is one of your absolutely, biggest talents, is to make people feel comfortable and give them that platform. So yes, back at you. It's a big love fest. It's the holidays, right?
I know. Oh my gosh.
It really is the holidays.
I'm like feeling, I hope I'm blushing up right now. I forgot to put rouge on, but yeah, no, I will say this much. I'm so grateful. And again, with Jeff's conversation about, having a cause, whether it be simple, he started off with 3 PB&J sandwiches, right? Find whatever it is in your business that makes sense for you, whether it's from your heart or it's part of your core mission value with your business. It just happened to make sense for him to give away PB&J. Obviously, we're not saying everyone go out and give out, sandwiches, right? If it's not part of your business. But if you
want to, that and frozen lemonade. I loved his story about his frozen lemonade.
I did too. But his pushing through with learning and understanding what his true values were, right? With that story. I don't know if y'all saw this or not, but when I asked him the question, I said, Jeff, what would you tell the younger Jeff Sinelli now that you're, have had the successes you've had? Did y'all see that he teared up?
Oh, I saw him pause, but we could not see on camera that it was an emotional moment. So tell us about that.
Yeah, he got really teary-eyed, and he said, well, I would tell the young Jeff, whose name is Ian and happens to be in the room right now. Yes. Do you remember him saying that?
Yes.
And there was a young guy in the room with us that he's mentoring. And
so that was his mentor. Okay.
Yeah, and he's shadowing Jeff, and Jeff is really kind of taking him under his arm and showing him things about business. And he got really, very sentimental about it. It was really sweet. So that's back to your authenticity with him, Syya. I just love the authenticity with him. He's just so real. He's in the moment and he's so present.
He really is. He really is. And he also, going back to the authenticity component of it, I thought it was quite interesting when he was telling his first entrepreneur story the lemonade stand and how it was cold. And, you know, the gentleman said, put the tip jar out. He made $100, repaid his mom. So that said two things specifically to me. Number one, that he was personally accountable for the money that he had borrowed from his mom to start. And that was a pride, right? He had pride to return the capital investment from his mom, even though that was family. A lot of children these days, you know, I have 3 of them, they do not. So they think that if you give them money, it's theirs. So I think that component shows what kind of gentleman he is. But also the fact that he needed to keep reserves for just in case moments. And that says a lot about him, that he's thinking about, I need to stand on my own 2 feet always, and make sure that I can be prepared for what comes next. And I think as, you know, business owners, that is a very important lesson in being true to yourself and not always relying on others to help, you know, through finances or whatever the case may be.
But as a young entrepreneur starting out, how do you get to that point? Because you're spending every dollar that comes in to run the business when you're first. How do you, as an entrepreneur, go, okay, I need to be setting aside this amount of money with each dollar that comes in, so for that rainy day, if that rainy day does ever come. And I think that was a big lesson learned for him when he had Genghis Khan, because he hadn't set aside the money for that rainy day, right? He didn't have it. So it was a big lesson learned that he'd never be in that position again.
That's right. That's right. And to me, I think that is definitely something that no matter how excited you get about a product or your service or your company, that you have to have a reserve no matter what. It's very important.
We didn't ask this question. I wish I would have, but I would tend to think, you know, most entrepreneurs, when they're raising capital, they never really go to the full point of the money. They go, you know, if I only get this amount, that's okay. That's all I need, and I can make this work. As opposed to saying, I need to really fully capitalize my business, and fully capitalize it means going to this level and beyond, and having some reserves with the capital that I've raised, right? So that if something does happen, you've got it over there in the safe place again. So I think that's another lesson. I bet you anything, I don't know for sure, but I bet you anything with WhichWich, that they had raised more than enough so that if a rainy day ever did come, they had enough set aside. Now, I don't know that for sure, but that would be my guess.
It's such a wise thing.
I mean, Syya, you took a leap of faith, you know, leaving the corporate sector to start your own company. I mean, did you plan for those moments along the path?
Yeah. Well, I mean, all my career, I'd saved money. So I'm going to give full credit to my partner in life. My boyfriend is a saver. I am a consumer of a lot of food and drink. I drink my life away. But, you know, hey, that's a philosophical discussion. But I did learn to save as a result of having a positive influence in my life. So I had a huge nest egg, if you will, to play around. We lived modestly, such that when I decided to take that leap of faith, I had a big cushion, if you will, mentally to take those risks. Right. So this is not like something I saved the last 2 years. Right. This is ever since we got together when I was 28 years old. So it's been, you know, a few years since I've been saving, you know, increasingly as my, you know, career progressed. So, yeah, I was lucky. I had that.
I think what you said is a good comment about living modestly. When Jeff talked about how he lived in the back house, and it wasn't pretty.
It wasn't pretty. It wasn't pretty.
When he first started Genghis Khan, so he was, you know, out there hustling, not spending it, living modest, and trying to make it work, right?
So my first office, I really related to that story. My first office, I had a small apartment in California, and my first office space was literally 7x7 space. I had a tiny desk, and I shared the space with a giant water heater. So it was the desk, a chair that you really had to kind of climb over the desk to get in, and the water heater. And I was very proud of my space, but I knew that that was the starting point for me. And that was the starting point of Tied Together. And over the years, I think that people, things ebb and flow in their lives, whether it's through divorce, a venture that doesn't go well, layoffs, things like that. But I think staying true to what your desires are and what your goals are, there's ways to take those moments and make yourself stronger.
I completely agree. See, what'd your first office look like when you guys first started out?
Well, do you want? I can flip my my webcam around if you want to see it. But let's just say it's an eclectic mix of my tastes and a blue screen. So there you go.
but that goes back to what you said. That goes back to what you said. You're using your resources smartly, right? In your studio, and and not renting a space necessarily or buying a space right up front. I think that investing in your equipment, investing in your social and your marketing plan is key.
Absolutely. Well, that's the other thing. Sometimes you don't necessarily have to invest in capital necessarily up front. So we entered into a partnership with City Central here in Dallas, Fort Worth area. So we run all our podcast studios. So there's a reason why we have 3 locations is because we partnered with City Central and they asked us, hey, if you're going to be podcasting, do you want to manage the studios for us? And we said, why not? And so that's the other thing.
There's your capital. There's your capital in different partnerships.
In partnerships, absolutely. I believe in ecosystem. I do believe in a strong community of raising each other up. I say it all the time: is all ships rise with the tide. That's why GLO so appealed to Erin and me, because we're like, you know what? We're part of a crew that is actually wanting to be successful together. So I want to give a shout out to some of the Dallas crew guys that are been so faithful, so rock solid to see the success of this chapter. Jonathan Anderson, he launched his podcast because of us and GLO and Michelle, because he's loving all the live weekly events. Him and Jonas Bull, both members, were like, you know what, let's do this. So you guys want to check out Jonathan Anderson and his podcast. It's called the ABC podcast, which is very funny because it's a combination of like comics, business talks, and video games. It's very, very cool, eclectic mix. And Leslie Flores has started to branch out, and she's the founder of Moments by Design, Party in a Box.
Which is a great concept.
Which, by the way, Cynthia, you guys need to partner up. It makes absolute
we have
sense.
Definitely been in talks, and we have one later on today that our company synergy is phenomenal. So Leslie has done an amazing job of providing all those people with the last minute party in a box so they don't have to run all over town. It's just an amazing concept.
Great.
Exactly. Rashmi, I'm doing a shout out if you guys notice. Rashmi Malhotra. So she has 2 things going on. She has a successful technology consulting business. And then on the side, she decided, hey, I'm going to kick off some Jean-Charles Boisset loving, because the woman loves her wine. So so anyone that loves wine, hit us up. We've got a lot of great connections. If you guys love Raymond wine,
and her discounts for being a GLO member, that was amazing. Great job.
Absolutely. Coup on Michelle. Again, partnerships and relationships. Egbert Lim, wellness, right? So love his business. It's actually he has a business that's launching for oxygen, right? So you see those oxygen bars and whatnot. He has something similar, but for the home usage and businesses, like spas and whatnot. Emery Geosits. Actually, he is a Dallas GLO member, but he actually just relocated recently. But he is now a managing director at Global IT. Which is basically an outsource where they augment businesses that want to conduct business internationally. So they've got resources. So if you need services, when I worked at HP, there were times when I couldn't get into Zimbabwe, for example. That's what they do. They provide services for US-based companies that want to do business internationally. So he's a managing director now on that, which is exciting.
Wow, great job.
Sheila Steinmark. She is a experiential marketing business. So sent her off to a client of ours. So she's helping them out. Gosh, I'm getting that, and I feel like the pressure that if I feel left, if I leave anyone, I'm going to feel bad. Anyway, lots of people that I'm leaving out now. I just want to say thank you all to everyone that has joined us. Michelle, if I can, with parting words and thoughts, what are your thoughts that you're grateful for 2020 as the CEO and founder of GLO? And also, what are your thoughts for 2021? What's your future plans?
You know what? So as everyone in 2020, we had to look at our business model and our, the direction we were going. We had to change. I mean, you said it earlier, the pivot was the word, Cynthia, and we had to pivot. We were going around and opening chapters, doing events, live events, and we couldn't continue to do that, obviously, with COVID. So we went online and started doing these events online. But what it did for us, which I think is a real blessing, it provided a new means for GLO. And in 2021, GLO is launching the GLO Network, which I'm really, really excited about. We've got fantastic programming that's coming on board with big names, like really big names as our host on different programs. And Syya and Erin, we're going to be working with you on that. So it's so exciting. Very, very excited. And I feel very blessed that GLO has provided the platform for me to get to meet so many wonderful entrepreneurs like Cynthia and to reconnect too. Jay out of Pittsburgh, he and I were buddies from the past, and we've reconnected. And I love the opportunity, and Jeff said this yesterday, being surrounded by like-minded peers. So you can be around, in a network with people that are maybe in your same industry, but they might not be the same type of person like you. Because I think as an entrepreneur, we're very unique personalities. So
Mom calls it special. Mom calls it special.
It's very special. Yes, a mind of our own is what my parents say. As they say, you guys have a mind of your own. So yes.
So I feel very blessed for that GLO's given me the platform to meet, reintroduce, reconnect, and then the platform to provide content, which I love to do, and bring in and expose new content to other people.
That's great. That's great.
Michelle, I'm so grateful for you. Cynthia, I'm obviously always, so grateful for you. And I'm so glad that we're reconnecting at a business level again, as well as obviously our personal relationship. So guys, we went a little bit longer than normal, but I think it's worth it. I do want to say, Michelle, absolute gratitude to you. Thank you for launching
much gratitude to the two of you. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Much gratitude. Much gratitude from me to you.
So 2021 has no idea what's coming their way with the three of us. I just want to say that it is going to be a phenomenal year. And I think it just is going to be a phenomenal year. And I cannot wait. So thank you very much. Thank you very, very much.
Wonderful. So on that note, everyone, this is the last After GLO Live Recap podcast of 2020. We will be back next month after oh my gosh, Michelle, when is our first date?
Our first event is January. We come in the second week of January because I just felt like everyone was going to be kind of getting back into a groove. So we start with Bruce Eckhart, Bruce Eckfeld, who is a leadership guru. So I'm excited to kick off the year with him. So leadership 2021.
Excellent.
Perfect.
And for everyone asking, what the heck is GLO? Everyone check out WITHGLO.com, withglo.com, and peruse it. If there's any questions, hit me up, and happy to answer your questions. So on that note, everyone, let's wrap it up for another final episode of 2020 After GLO Live Recap Podcast. Bye.
Bye. Thank you. Happy New Year.